So it's our honor and pleasure, folks, to sit down with Brian Holmes, a well-experienced instructor, entrepreneur, coach, advisor, whatever, but super smart dude. So let's dive into it with Brian. But the first thing I want to ask, Brian, how did you get into this field? Why are you an instructor? What are you passionate about?
Yeah. Well, I've been developing and training individuals my whole adult life. My primary business and focus for 27 years now has been developing leaders in the context of corporate training, entrepreneurial training, business coaching, executive coaching.
Yeah.
And so I have this incredible passion for helping people kind of go to the next level in whatever category that is.
Yeah.
And as it relates to firearms instruction, I've been a passionate, concealed carry guy for my entire adult life. But my journey was I didn't really know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
Until I went to a particular training session, which I'll tell you about in a minute, that just kind of woke me up a little bit and made me realize that I needed to take my defensive handgun training to a different place. And then through that process, of course, I decided I want to take my training experience, my teaching experience, and marry that to the firearms industry and began really helping people on that level as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. You started in really kind of just in a general sense, a broad, coaching, sort of area, right?
Yeah,
and then sort of funneling that into the firearm training piece. So
applying it to a new category.
Yeah. So
let me give you
it's
the
not something you really like. It's not like I see a bunch of ads being run on Facebook or Google or whatever, for firearm instructor coach. At least
right.
Like you do business coaching.
Yeah. I don't use the term coaching as much with my firearms training.
Yeah.
But I've been doing. You've heard the term, of course, life coach, and that's become such a broad, overused type of a deal. My focus has been more business development, leadership development, and so I'll give you the background. So my early adult life, I entered into vocational ministry. I was an ordained pastor for a lot of years and did a lot of work there, all the while running my consulting business parallel to that. So I've always been in business aside from that. But in training and working with people in the context of the church and institutional world, I developed a real passion for seeing people make progress. And so as I kind of came into the more quote-unquote secular workspace of doing executive coaching at very high levels, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies, other groups, it lit me up, right? I jokingly tell people that when my daughter was transitioning between, say, ages 11 and about 13, from being my little baby girl, kind of awkward looking and chunky and what have you, to being this ridiculously beautiful young lady, that's about the time that I realized something had to shift with regards to my firearms training.
Timing just seemed to work out that way.
Yeah, and it's about the time I probably looked after the USCCA to figure out how I could make sure I was protected on the back end, in case I had to deal with some business or something like that. I'm just kidding there, of course, but that led me about 5-6 years ago. I said I've got to go do some real training. I was probably a typical concealed carry gun owner. I would go to the range once a month. I would, spend an hour, maybe sometimes two. I would even sometimes get an instructor to come alongside of me and help me with some nuances and things like that. And I felt fairly confident about my skill set.
Sure.
And so in my mind, I was probably above average. I come from the state of Texas, as you mentioned a moment ago. And in Texas, we have a huge number of concealed carriers, a lot of guys that are licensed to carry. They carry a card. Many of them do concealed carry every day, and now even open carry in some cases. Right. And it is frightening to me that about 85% of the people in Texas that have a license to carry have not received one bit of training, not one lesson, not 1 hour on the range, not anything with an instructor since they received their LTC training, their compulsory training to get their card. That scares the mess out of me, to be honest with you.
And we're with you there, and frankly, that aligns with what we've witnessed in our own business.
Well, and if you think it's bad in Texas, I mean, think about states like
states that don't require
any training at all. I mean, Indiana, Georgia, Wyoming, or states that require significantly less than Texas.
Oh yeah, sure.
Like Colorado, where we're from, Utah.
Right.
So yeah, that's frightening, and there's kind of two sides of that, right? Because I feel like as an industry, on one hand, we're out there telling everybody, hey, the government shouldn't make any of us get training. And then on the other hand, we're like, but please, you need to get some training.
Right. It is kind of a juxtaposition because we certainly want to protect our freedoms and all of the constitutional issues that we all love and care about so much. At the same time, though, there is a level of responsibility that is tremendous, really, if you think about it. To carry a tool that is meant for self-preservation, for protection, and to not know how to adequately use it in a defensive situation, to me, is a travesty, and it's very, very irresponsible.
It's irresponsible.
It really is.
Yeah.
You know, well, and we've had this discussion many times. I mean, on one hand, we're kind of constitutionalists as far as I hate the government telling me I have to do something, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And usually the government screws it up and comes up with random arbitrary standards that don't necessarily mean anything. Just some attorney or lawmaker somewhere thought, that sounds good, let's do that.
That are normally framed around non-facts.
But we've definitely been very consistent, and I mean, believe in the Constitution all you want, but it is, in fact, and because we have the rights that we do as Americans, it actually does, in fact, guys, come with an incredible responsibility to take it seriously, to treat it like it is actually a big deal, like it is. I mean, we're all about Second Amendment. Well, it is a big deal. Let's actually treat it like it's a big deal. Take it seriously. I mean, I personally believe I love when someone takes it upon themselves, like you did, I want to get trained. I want to be educated. I want to be better.
Yeah.
I want to be responsible.
But here's a key thing that Brian said, and I bet a lot of people can connect with this. Brian thought he was above average.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And probably
your impression
against the whole, I was.
Yeah, sure. But what's average?
Based on what standard?
Yeah. And so this is where we kind of have to go.
Have we not all been there at some point?
Sure.
Right?
And so we have to understand, first off, okay, I think a key understanding is that no matter who you are or where you think your skills are, your journey's never over.
That's right.
All of us are getting training.
That's right.
We all take classes still, and who knows where we are on the scale, and I don't really care. All I know is that I can only go forward.
That's right.
And I need to continue to go forward. So that's the first kind of critical core element. But this is where I think our discussion needs to go now, and that is, okay, we're pounding on people all the time saying, get more training, get more training, get more training. But what does that actually mean? Does that mean, I just got to go to the range more and shoot at that piece of paper some more? Like, what does that actually entail? Brian, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it does beg an answer. And for me, I'll give you my perspective. I believe that if a person has a genuine desire to, one, grow in their proficiency, in their safety, and in their ability to defend themselves, their family, or another loved one, then they must recognize that if you're going to get better, you must have someone working with you that is better than you, which means you must hire an instructor. It means you go to a class. It means you go to a place like I did out in Nevada and did a 4-day defensive handgun class, and I've carried on even with their advanced training over the years now. The point is, the onus is upon you to seek out someone who is a little bit ahead of you that they can bring you along. And I don't think it's necessarily pride or arrogance or whatever. I think sometimes it's just
well, you said it. You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know, and until you get with someone who is at least 1 or 2 steps ahead of you. Leadership is all about this. It's all about I don't know everything, and I need somebody to help me get where I haven't yet been. But I am somewhere today where somebody else hasn't been, so I can help someone along, but I have to recognize in my own space that I have a need to have other people in my life and around me that can bring me along to a better place. So to me, it's just about going to either finding an individual instructor to get private training, to go to classes, to go to, I don't know if you guys want to mention places like in Nevada, for example, where I go, and other places around, like I think there's Gunsight in Arizona. I go to Front Sight.
Yep.
These types of places, just go do the deal. And here was my experience at Front Sight, for example. I went out there thinking, again, I was above average, probably in the state of Texas, let's say. And I go out there, and about maybe the morning of the second day, I had light bulbs going off, and I'm going, holy crap, I don't know anything. I mean, obviously that's not true.
Sure.
But I was like, as it relates to true defensive real-life situations, I had not been properly trained or proficiently trained. And so, listen, you can't change what you're not willing to acknowledge. So it begins with, I don't know what I don't know, and there's probably something that I need to know, so let me go find out what that is. And the only way to do that is to get yourself in an environment where you're challenged with information you haven't yet acquired. That's it.
Yeah, and I think there's a key. People need to understand there's a difference between training and practice. And in the industry, we do a poor job of using those words interchangeably.
That's a great point.
Oh, I'm going to go to the gun range. I'm going to train today. No, you're not.
You're going to go shoot.
You're going to go practice, maybe, at best.
Yeah, at best.
You're either going to be playing or you're going to be practicing. But training is actual formal instruction from someone who knows more than you.
That's right.
And so we got to kind of bear that in mind. And watching this video right now, this isn't training either. This is, at best, we could call it learning.
Yeah.
You're getting some education. You're getting some knowledge. Right. But, we got to go get formal training. We got to get more learning. But then practice is just taking the stuff we learned from training and learning and getting the repetitions.
Yeah. So I'll tell you another thing that kind of irks me a little bit is that people tend to think, okay, I'm going to go invest, $500 in this pistol that I've just got to have, right? And then they go to one class to get their LTC, and they think in their mind, I've invested enough money now, and I've earned the right to carry this concealed or open or whatever to defend myself. And here's the deal. A lot of people are big on image and status. They're very low on investment. I've spent thousands of dollars. I bet you guys have as well. Tens of thousands of dollars. Traveling, paying for training, what have you, because I recognize that the only way I'm going to get better is to invest in myself.
Yeah.
And so you have to adopt a mindset of personal investment, investing in me. I've got to invest in my skill sets, my growth, all those things. And really that applies to every area of life. But in this space, you're not going to get better with a handgun or with a rifle or anything else that you're training with until you invest some money and some time and some energy into getting better.
Yeah.
Well, I think the time and the energy, the big issue is, this is one of Riley's big things, so I won't talk about it too long, but it's real easy to say, I'm going to take $200 and buy this new scope, or I'm going to take $500 and buy this new gun, because it's like, I just got to put the cash down, you hand it to me, and I'm done.
It's going to make me better.
Right, no more investment needed on my end.
We like gadgets.
Right, and we like fast gratification, and training, unfortunately, is neither generally convenient or cheap. It requires an investment not only of money, but also of time and energy.
Yeah. It's work.
Yeah, it's work.
It is work.
I mean, I think it's fun work, but you're exactly right. I mean, it's just, we love tangible things, so it's that next new gun, that next new optic, new holster. It's great to have it in the hands, to hold it, to shoot it, to carry it, whatever. Training is not tangible.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
I mean, it can be. I mean, it is gratifying, I think, to see results of, oh, wow, I'm improving. My groups are tighter. My times are faster. But it doesn't give us that instant gratification like buying the next new gadget is. To your point, by the way, as well, Brian, as you were talking just a minute ago, as I was thinking, obviously we're talking about the importance of training, seeking out quality training, seeking out people that know maybe more than us, realizing that, we're never really done learning. Mm-hmm. I would add to that there's the need to be open-minded.
Oh, gosh, yes.
To other ideas, other instructors, other training schools, whatever. Because sometimes what I see is shooters or even instructors that turn themselves off to a certain, either philosophy or training or an instructor because, well, he said that one thing that I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Hello.
Yeah.
Do we ever 100% agree with another person in their philosophies and the way they do their training or the way they shoot or what they believe in? No, we never 100% agree. And I'll tell you, I've just learned so much more by being open-minded. I mean, you and I, we're always having conversations. We don't always agree on everything. And I've had my mind open to things that you've said. And I think it's gone the other way as well. And, now we have conversations with guys like you, Rob, Tim, others we have, and I don't always agree with everything Rob Pincus says, but I value it. And I think there's something there to be heard and be open-minded to it. And don't immediately shut the thinking part down, the cognitive thing down because you don't agree with somebody. And I'll tell you, that pays dividends in the long run. You've been, I know you get it. I hope I could encourage viewers and those that listen to our podcast that they would be open-minded. I mean, we have gotten those emails, unfortunately, where someone says, well, you said this one thing, and I'm done listening to you guys now.
No. Well, opinions are formed on the basis of experience. So whatever your experiences are lead you over time to an opinion. Those opinions are then shaped normally by personal preference. And so you can talk to 10 people here at this show today about take one topic and just ask them what their opinion is about it. You're going to get 10 at least uniquely nuanced answers, because that's just the way human behavior happens. The point, though, is that I can find value and I can become better and more proficient and have more wisdom and understanding if I draw from the experience of someone else, even if I choose to do it differently.
Yes.
And so I'm with you. For example, I'll give you a great example. Go to Front Sight, they're 100% weaver training.
Yeah.
Weaver stance.
Yep.
You go to Rob, well, you better not weaver with him.
Nope.
Because you'll get, jack slapped right now, because that's just not the way to do it, right?
Yep.
But here's the point. Weaver, isosceles, whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever's right for you, you can work that out, but learn, grow, be open, be trained by those who are better than you, and find the value and set aside what you feel like doesn't work for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, those are all
thoughts.
valid points.
Absolutely.
This has been fantastic, Brian. Let's talk a little bit, how can people find you? If someone's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they want to take a class.
Well, I'm super excited. Can I talk about?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about being now associated with you guys as one of your affiliate instructors in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and just really thrilled with that. Yep. So certainly they can find out more about what we're doing in Dallas through your website.
Texas.concealcarry.com. We met at the Wisconsin USCCA headquarters.
That's correct. We met we sure did.
All the three of us were in the same training counselor course. We connected there. And then we really started our conversation after that.
Yes.
Kind of about what was going on and getting closer. So, I don't think that all your classes are on our site yet, but hopefully in the relatively near future we'll get our acting gear and people will be able to find they're there.
If somebody's watching this in Dallas now, go to prpfirearms.com. They can find out all the stuff we're doing there, but all of our stuff will in very short order be filtered through you guys as well. Yes, we're excited about that. And then also, if anybody's interested in the other work that I do, just brianholmes.com is where I kind of do all of my personal development, leadership development stuff. I've got a podcast there, a video, a vlog, I guess it is, and just a whole lot of stuff there as well.
Nice. And I've listened to the last couple of podcast episodes.
Really?
Just recently, So it's worth checking out.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Awesome. Great. Well, Brian, thank you for your time, and we're so excited to have you as part of the team. And it was great to have you on this live broadcast today from the Concealed Carry Expo.